What's up, you guys? It's your girl Sierra and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, it's going to be a different video than the normal videos that I post here on my channel. There's going to be a little bit more of an intimate kind of video, a little more personal kind of video that I'm actually very nervous for. But so I posted on my Snapchat and on my Instagram if you guys would be interested in me posting a video about pregnancy, my pregnancy experience and my experience with postpartum depression. And I got, surprisingly, 100% of the people voted for that. And yeah, people on Snapchat and stuff, they told me like, yes, like I would love for you to do a video like that. That's something that isn't talked about enough, and it's something that a lot of women go through, and I totally agree that it is not at all talked about enough. So for today's video, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be sharing my experience with postpartum depression and my pregnancy experience. I'm just gonna say a little disclaimer now, the obvious, that I am not a doctor. Okay, I cannot tell you that you have postpartum or if you have postpartum. I have no freaking idea. This is my personal experience, and this is just a video so that other women can relate to me and so that they can know that they're not alone, and maybe my experience is similar to your experience, and you just need to know that, you know, you're not going through it alone. So that's what my video is here for. It's all about positivity, and we're just gonna talk about the real deal of having babies and having babies young. I'm only 20. I just turned 22 last week, and I have 2 kids. So this video is just about just what it's like having them, what it's like being pregnant, what it's like dealing with depression. And yeah, so I hope that this video is helpful to some of you people, some of you women that are maybe going through it right now, or pregnant women, or just people that just want to know. This also is not a video to scare anybody away or to think that if you get pregnant this is going to happen to you afterwards, because it is not a fact. It's a percentage that gets it and a percentage that doesn't end up having it, so you never really know. But yeah, this is not at all to scare anybody. This is just my personal experience with postpartum depression and my pregnancy stories. So if you guys are interested in talking about this with me, then keep on watching. So first, I'll start off talking about my pregnancy with my first daughter, Esmariah. I got pregnant with my daughter, Esmariah, when I was 19 years old. I found out I was pregnant with her on May 4th, 2017. So yeah, I was 19 years old. I had just graduated beauty school the month before. I had just moved out the month before. So yeah, I had went to high school, I graduated, I went to beauty school, I graduated, and then I got pregnant with my daughter Esmariah. I was already living on my own. When I got pregnant with her, I was excited. I know, I mean, I was 19, so I wasn't like super young, but I wasn't like, you know, old, so, or older than I expected to be, me getting pregnant. But I wasn't at all disappointed. I was like, okay, cool, like I'm having a baby. I was happy. I really wanted her to be a girl, and she was, so I was completely ecstatic about that. And yeah, being pregnant, I had an okay pregnancy. I threw up a lot. I was very, very sick when I was pregnant with Esmariah all the time, and it could be because I'm very anemic, but I was very sick all the time. I was tired all the time. I was stressed out. I was 19. I was pregnant. I had moved out. We were having a lot of financial issues, and yeah, but other than that, I basically had like a typical pregnancy. Later along in my pregnancy, towards the end, we started to, me and Justin, my boyfriend, who is also my kids' dad, we started to realize that we were not gonna make it living where we were living. We had like an okay apartment, but like I said, financially we were really struggling. And yeah, so we couldn't find like good jobs, and like I went on a couple of interviews while I was pregnant. I didn't get any of them, which I think it was because I was pregnant, because they were a little biased, but whatever. So yeah, we just had no luck financially, and you know, we're having a daughter on the way, so we realized that we weren't going to be able to financially take care of her the way that we wanted to. So, oh, excuse me, that's my baby monitor beeping. Anyways, yeah, we realized that we weren't going to be able to take care of her the way that we wanted to, and so we started thinking of like, what can we do, because we cannot give our daughter, like, you know, this life where we're struggling paycheck to paycheck and whatever. Justin's brother lived here in North Dakota and put in Justin's ear that he should move here, and that he'll be able to get a really good job, and that the rent here is cheaper, and that we'll be able to survive a little bit more if we're living in North Dakota as opposed to living in Florida, where we were really struggling at. So we were like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, there's really nothing else we can do. So we already had that set in stone before I even gave birth, that that's what our plan was gonna be. And I guess I didn't really think about it deep enough. Like, I didn't think about the fact that, because obviously he's gonna leave right after I give birth, and I'm gonna have to take care of her all on my own. Because I'm not gonna go. He wanted me to come with him, like we just go there, and I'm like, no, my daughter, she needs to be 2 months old. We're not gonna survive her another 2 months. She needs to get her shots and stuff like that, and I want you to go there and secure like a job and an apartment and stuff before I move my baby over there. So that was what we ended up doing. He ended up literally, I think like 2 weeks after I gave birth to Esmariah, he ended up driving across the state with his best friend to live here in North Dakota and to get a good job and stuff here. And I stood back at home. I moved back into my mother's house. I didn't want to be alone, so I moved back into my mother's house with Esmariah, and we stood there for the next 2 months. And in these 2 months, I was introduced to motherhood. I was 20. No, I was not 20 at the time. I'm lying. I was still 19 years old, and my boyfriend left for good reason, but he left, and now I'm just stuck with, not stuck, but now I just have this baby that I have to take care of. And I used to babysit all the time, so like I used to always watch my brothers and stuff, and so I thought, like, you know, I know what I'm doing, like it's not that hard, like it's just a baby, you know. And I was so ignorant for thinking that way, so ignorant, because motherhood literally slapped me in the face. It knocked me out. Okay, I'm taking care of her, and she's a baby, so you know, she wakes up a lot, she cries a lot, and I really struggled with that. I thought that she didn't like me. I thought she didn't love me. Mind you, I'm talking about like a 1 week old baby, but that's what I thought at the time, and I felt really guilty. And she would obviously wake up every 3 hours, and she would cry and whatever, and I would be totally exhausted, like exhausted. Let me tell you, I was so tired all the time, and I was alone. I was taking care of her all on my own, all by myself. I mean, I lived with my mother, but you know, my mother works every day, so, and she has a baby of her own. My little brother is only a year older than my daughter, so she had her own baby, so I'm not gonna ask her to help me with mine when she has to take care of her own, you know. So yeah, I was really just like, I was starting to get, I feel like every day I was just like so much sadder than the day I was before, because I was so tired. I was alone. I missed my boyfriend. So yeah, I was just really sad. I just got really sad over time, and I thought that maybe when I moved to North Dakota and I was with Justin again, that I would just feel so much better. So when I was in Florida, I was just really struggling. I was just super sad. I was alone. I was tired, but I kept it all to myself. I kept it all together because I felt like I shouldn't feel the way that I feel, you know. Like, it's not her fault, you know, she's a baby, you know, all babies wake up, all babies, you know, so it's not her fault. But I felt just like so guilty that I felt like I couldn't handle it as well as I've seen everybody else handle it. I felt like I was a bad mother, and yeah, it was just a super sad time. I remember my cousin, I was having like a going away party, kind of like where all my family came to say goodbye to me before I came to North Dakota, and I was in the closet with my cousin, and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I just broke down and I started crying. I was like, I'm not okay. This is so hard. I'm so exhausted. I have no help. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Like, and in that moment I realized, I was like, damn, like I'm really not okay. But then I thought, once again, okay, once I move to North Dakota and I'm with Justin again and we're a family again, I'll feel so much better about myself. So, boom. I come on a plane and I moved to North Dakota, which was literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Imagine being, you know, 19 years old. Well, I was 20. I turned 20 while I was in Florida, so I was 20 now. But imagine being 20 years old with your first baby and you move to a state that nobody that you know lives in. Like, it was so hard. So I made the move here. And the first couple of days I was okay. I was just like, oh, you know, I was kind of excited a little bit because I was living in a new town. So I was like, oh, like, well, they have this here, they have this here, what's this, you know. It's a little bit more of like an excitement. But once that kind of wore off, it was just like over with. I just feel like it was literally from like one day to the next where I just became in like the deepest depression. my boyfriend would be gone at work all day. He would come home at like, I don't know, like 8 o'clock at night, but she's already sleeping. So I literally just spent all day and all night up taking care of her by myself, because he's, you know, he needs to sleep because he's working all day. And yeah, he leaves early, he comes home late. So I was doing it all on my own, and I started to get really sad again. And I was like, dang, like what the hell am I doing wrong? Why am I so sad all the time? Like, I love my baby so much. I know she loves me, and why am I so sad all the time? Like, the fact that I was you know, alone and in a state by myself, like it really took a toll on me. It took a toll on my mental health. You know, months went by. I was sad, but I was okay. I was, you know, I wasn't like, I wished I could work, or I wished I had family, but it wasn't super bad. Like, it was, I can't even explain it. It was bad at the time. Like, at the time I was like, oh my god, like this is terrible. Like, I'm so depressed, I'm so bored, blah blah blah. But I had no idea what I was in for a couple of months later. So yeah, I was just like, you know, like, I'm sad, but I mean, it is what it is. We're doing this for Esmeralda. You know, Justin has a good job, so you know, I was content. And over time, I just started to I felt like I was like decent. I mean, I wasn't happy, but I wasn't super depressed as I was in the beginning. And I was just like, you know, whatever, like this is just the way that it goes, and it'll all be over soon. In my head I was like, okay, when Esmeralda turns a year and 3 months, I will take her to daycare, and then she'll go to daycare, and then I'll go to work, and we'll be all good. So then a couple of months after I had Esmeralda, and when I was here living in North Dakota, I found out that I was pregnant again with my daughter, Amaya Blue. And this time it really hit me. Like, I was 20 years old and I got pregnant, and when I found out I was pregnant, I was like bawling, crying. I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna go through this all over again. Like, I feel like I just got out of not being so sad, because I looked forward to Esmeralda being old enough for me to take her to daycare, and then I can work, and then I can have a life, and then everything will go smoothly. And it's just like start all over from the beginning. I was so incredibly sad when I found out I was pregnant, and it made me feel bad because, you know, there's women that can't get pregnant, and here I am pregnant, and I'm so disappointed in myself that I'm pregnant. You know, I'm like, no, like I can't do this again. I can't be 21 or 20 with 2 kids on my own. Like, it's gonna kill me. Esmeralda didn't sleep through the night still. She was a couple of months old by that. She's probably like 8 or 9 months old at that time, and she still didn't sleep through the night. She still woke up every 3 hours like she was an infant. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be waking up for the rest of my life. I'm never gonna get any sleep. Like, I was so disappointed with myself, and it makes me really sad to say that, because Amaya Blue's my daughter, and I love both of my kids to the bottom of my heart. But this is, like I said, this was at the time. And yeah, so at the time I was just very disappointed, and I was very sad. I was very lost. I was just like, shit, what the fuck do I do now? Thankfully, my family, my mother especially, she was very supportive of me, and she was there for me. I'm gonna cry. She was there for me. She never judged me. She just tried to guide me. So yeah, anyways, I was pregnant with Amaya Blue, and I feel like once I got pregnant with her, it was just, my life just went into a shithole, because Justin had got a different job, a better job, but a longer houred job. So he wasn't coming home every night. He would come home like 2 or 3 nights a week. And you know, I'm alone. At the time I didn't drive. I have no family, I have no friends, I have nothing here, and I'm here pregnant, taking care of a baby still. You know, Esmeralda was only like 8 or 9 months old when I found out I was pregnant again. So I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have 2 babies. And yeah, my life just went into a whirlwind. I went into like the biggest depression ever. I never told anybody that I was pregnant with Amaya Blue other than my family. I never posted on social media until a month before I gave birth. It was just such a secret. And it was a secret because I was so depressed, I didn't want to be judged. It was just like so much going on, and for me to find out that I was pregnant again, I was just like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do with my life now? Now I really can't go to college. Now I won't be able to work for a longer amount of time. I'm gonna be so stressed out. Like, it was a lot on my mind every single day. And Justin wasn't home. Justin was gone. He was working, but he wasn't there. And not that it's his fault, but he couldn't be there for me. You know, being pregnant sucks. You know, your back hurts, you're tired, your feet hurt, your legs hurt, you throw up, you know. So I had to experience all that on my own while taking care of another baby. And it was a lot on me. It was a really hard on me. Him not coming home was like the saddest thing ever to me, because I sleep alone most nights. Oh my god, I'm about to freaking cry. This second a tear comes down my eye, I'm gonna stop recording. So yeah, when I was pregnant with Amaya Blue, everything was such a struggle for me. He had got that job, so he was never home. As Mariah, I started to realize that as Mariah wasn't where she was supposed to be. What am I gonna say? Mentally, she just wasn't where she wasn't where she was supposed to be for her age. Like, I started to realize that she was very delayed, that she didn't act like babies her age. She acted like babies that were younger than her. So yeah, everything was just, I just felt like I was just being piled on with a bunch of things. When I was pregnant with Amaya Blue, I couldn't get prenatal care. They wouldn't give me prenatal care because I wasn't married. So yeah, it was just such a battle that I faced when I was pregnant with her. It was just so much going on, and I just felt like the world was just like falling on top of me. I just felt like there was just like so many things going on that I couldn't handle at once. So yeah, I just had a very miserable pregnancy with Blue. I was very sad. I cried literally every single night. It was just a lot, and I feel like I never even really healed from my sadness and my depression and my postpartum from being pregnant with Mariah, and it just dragged on my whole pregnancy of Amaya Blue. And then I gave birth to Amaya Blue, and Blue was literally the happiest baby. She is the happiest baby ever. Like, she's so smiley, she's so happy, and it made me feel so bad. It's like, wow, it's like you were in my belly, and I was so angry, I was so sad, I was so depressed and miserable when you were growing inside of me. And then for you to come and be just like this, my twin, first of all, and then just so happy and so sweet and so smiley, is so smart, she's so smart. It was like, wow, like, oh my god, I can't even talk about it. But I just felt so bad for basically being so miserable, and then God blessed me with like just such a beautiful, healthy twin of mine. So yeah, after I gave birth to Blue, my mother flew out here. She flew out here, I think like the day after or 2 days after I gave birth to Blue, and Justin was obviously had to take a couple days off of work to be there for me while I gave birth. But Justin only had, I think, like 3 days off of work, and then he ended up going back. He had to go back to work, so I just had my mom with me. So it was just me, my mom, as Mariah, and Blue. And my mom was kind of just like teaching me how I can take care of them both at the same time, or like, you know, multitask. And I remember thinking like, wow, this is really hard. Like, how am I gonna do this when my mom leaves? And my mom obviously left. She was only here for like a week or so, and she left. And when she's walking out the door, I was like bawling, crying, and I was just like, please just don't leave me here alone. I was like, please just don't leave me, like, I'm tired of being alone. And you know, she's cried, and you know, she had to go, and she left, and I was responsible for taking care of the 2 babies all on my own. And I thought it was gonna be hard, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be so hard, it's gonna be, and it was 100 times harder than what I even imagined. It was like what I thought times a million. As Mariah, she was like 1.5 or 1 and some change when Blue was born, and she still woke up in the middle of the night. So I had to wake up in the middle of the night when Mariah was waking up, and I had to wake up in the middle of the night when Blue was waking up. So I literally was up every hour, so I would only get like 30 minutes of sleep in between each time, because when Blue wakes up I have to hold her and feed her, you know. So I literally got no sleep once Blue was born, and it was exhausting, you know. Getting no sleep really does it destroys you, okay? It's like, you know, on top of being sad, on top of me being alone, on top of me being depressed, you know, I'm getting literally no sleep at night. I called my mom once at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I had Blue in my arms and she was screaming, and I had no idea why, as Mariah was in her crib crying. And, you know, Justin was never home. He didn't sleep at home, nothing. So I'm just doing this all by myself. And I call my mom at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Like, what the fuck? Like, what do I do? She doesn't stop crying. I can't get them to stop crying. Like, I can't take care of them. It was a lot. It was so much pressure. And, you know, being young, we put so much pressure on ourselves when we have kids, that we have to be great moms, and we have to do everything right, and we have to prove people that, like, you know, young moms can do it and shit. And I couldn't do it. I just felt like so defeated. I felt like I just couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't get it right. It was just an overwhelming feeling of just like, what the fuck, basically. I felt like a bad person. I felt like a terrible, terrible, terrible mother. It was just a lot. Like, I know that I love my kids, and I know that my kids love me, but it's just like, I felt like I just couldn't do it. Like, I just couldn't take care of them. And then I felt wrong for feeling like I just couldn't take care of them, and like I just couldn't do it, because I felt like everybody else was perfectly fine and I was like struggling. It was a lot. It was a lot. I was still depressed from after giving birth to Mariah, and then depressed my whole pregnancy, and then depressed after I give birth, and then I have 2 kids that I have to take care of, and it was a lot. And it just started to get really, really, really bad for me. Like, I was completely lost. I was completely miserable. I was so sad. I was tired. I was alone. And yeah, it made me just be like a whole different person. It made me be a miserable person. I was always angry. And it caused a lot of problems in my relationship. It was just a lot, and I just felt like he didn't understand me. You know, that was what our arguments were. You know, he's at work all day, all night, and I'm at home all day, all night by myself, and I'm doing this by myself. And I just felt like he just didn't get it. He didn't get how hard it was to actually, like, to have to take care of them, you know. And then when he's with them, you know, he kisses and hugs them, and it's like easy for him, but for me it's like I'm dying, because, you know, I'm really the one that's actually doing everything. So it was hard, and I just felt like I was so sad. I was so sad, and he just wasn't even there to see it. So because I was so freaking sad all the time, and it started causing a lot of problems between me and Justin, I ended up leaving him. I ended up going back home to Florida with somebody just started their car, so hold up. My depression it got really, really bad. And the fact that I had nobody made it much worse, because I feel like when you're going through bad things or hard times, you need your closest friends and your family, and I had nobody but somebody who was never there. So it was too much for me. I couldn't take it, and I wanted to be happier. And I realized that all the things that I was going through, I wanted Justin to help me to fix it, because he was the only person that I had. So I feel like I just put a lot of pressure on his shoulders, like, you have to help me get through this. Like, I felt like if he made me super happy, then I'll be happy. But that wasn't the case. And he's only, you know, a person, you know, and I was wrong for putting so much pressure on him. Because it's really with yourself. I just felt like he wasn't getting me, like he wasn't understanding me. So I couldn't do it no more. Just like every month was just like so much worse than the month before, and I just felt like over time it was just getting worse, and I was just like, what the fuck, like I've been being sad for like 2 years already, like when the fuck is this shit gonna stop? So yeah, I ended up going back to Florida and living with my mom, going to my mom's house, and it was a lot. It made me sad, you know. When I was here living in North Dakota, the girls had their own room. Well, they had like a room for them both. And yeah, I just felt, I was sad. Damn, now I'm really doing this on my own. And it was hard, and I used to debate all the time, like what am I doing with my life? Like I need to figure out where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm gonna, like what's my career. I have these kids that depend on me, you know, for everything, and I need to make the right choices, and it's a lot of pressure. And you know, that also adds to your sadness and your depression, is that you feel like, you know, the whole world is relying on you. I have 2 babies relying on me to figure everything out for them. And yeah, it was a lot. So when I was in Florida, I was the most sad that I was, but in the most secretive way that I was. Like when I was in North Dakota, I would literally scream and cry, and like when I got to Florida, I feel like I was literally just numb. Like I literally felt like I was dead inside. Like I would just, like I wouldn't even cry. I would just be like lay in my bed at night and just be so sad. Like I couldn't even, I just felt like this is who I was going to be for the rest of my life. Like I've been being sad for like 2 fucking years, okay? They say that postpartum depression, you know, it doesn't last that long. It's a couple weeks or whatever, and I feel like I've been dealing with it for years. And it was a lot. One day I woke up and I was literally just like, fuck this. I was like, fuck being sad, okay? Fuck doing everything on my own. Fuck everything that is not making me fucking happy. And that's literally how I woke up one day. Like I literally just woke up like, I'm done being sad. I'm done being the victim. I'm done depending on everybody else to make me happy. I'm done with it. I'm not with it no more. So I literally woke up and I was like, nah, we're not doing this no more. Like shit is gonna be right or it's not. And I started to really figure, I made a plan for everything. I made a plan for what I was gonna do if I'm in Florida. I made a plan for what I'm gonna do if I'm in North Dakota. I made a plan what I'm gonna do if I'm not with Justin anymore. I made a plan for what I'm gonna do if I'm with Justin anymore. I just made a plan for everything, and it made me excited to stick to my plan. So I ended up telling Justin, like, you know, I'll come back, but this and this and this and this needs to be completely different, because I'm not gonna be home alone, depressed, miserable, sad, taking care of kids by myself. And you know, he obviously wanted to be with me, so he agreed, and he got a new job where he comes home every day. We got a bigger apartment, which is what I really wanted. Our old apartment was like this little, literally looked like we lived in somebody's basement. Like it was an apartment, but it was underground, literally, and it was dark as fuck because we're underground, and it was just like so depressing. And no, so we ended up moving into a bigger apartment. So yeah, the way that I got through all of the sadness was I woke up, I said fuck this, I made a plan of what I was gonna do, and the people that were a part of the plan gotta get with it or get left. So that was basically how it went. I kind of just realized that, you know, I am the problem. I'm the one that's not being myself. I'm the one that's dragging on this sadness for so long because I'm sad, you know. I'm the one that's not getting myself out of it. So I woke up and I was like, you know what, that's it. Like I want to be happier. I want to be more like playful. I just want to be a much better mother, a much better person. When I came here, I started doing YouTube and a couple of other things that I'm doing on the side, and I kept myself occupied, and I feel like now I'm happier than what I've been in a very long time. Me and Justin's relationship is the best it's ever been in the 5 years that we've been together. So yeah, it's all about like healing yourself. It's all about taking responsibility. It's all about letting go of what you can't control. You know, if you get postpartum depression after you have your baby, just know it's not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not wrong for feeling the way that you feel. It's completely normal. You're not crazy like everybody makes us seem. You know, it's normal. It's what us women have to go through. That's why women are the strongest people on the motherfucking planet. Okay, we have to go through the most, and we get through the most things that men will never understand. So yeah, if you're struggling with depression, postpartum depression, any depression, if you're pregnant or anything, just be, it's really about your mindset. Just have a positive mindset, have a plan, don't take nobody's shit, okay? Just do you, and don't let yourself, it's really easy to get sad and then make yourself so much sadder. You know, you need to, if you're spiritual, pray, okay? Talk to your friends, your family. You know, friends and family really do help a lot, and they take your mind off things. Get like a hobby or something, you know, just be a happy person. Don't sit in your sadness. I did that for 2 years of my life. I just sat in my sadness and my guilt and my regret, and fuck that. Don't do that. Just be happy, be positive, be nice, be all that you want to be, all that you're capable of being. You're so much more capable than you even know, you know? So yeah, if I had to give any advice to anybody, that would be it. It would be just don't sink in your sadness, because nobody can really get you out of it but you. So just take control of your life, take control of your happiness. Don't let other people determine if you're happy, if you're not happy, or whatever. Like now I can genuinely say that I'm so happy in my life, and I feel like I haven't been able to say that since I had given birth to Esmariah over 2 years ago. So yeah, I was struggling this whole entire time. I was struggling with postpartum depression, pregnancy, depression, postpartum. It was just like back to back to back, and I just felt like I was never gonna get through it. And I don't want anybody else to feel like that, because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I used to say this to myself all the time, like, there's no light at the end of my tunnel, but there really is. There is a light at the end of every single tunnel. You really just have to find it. You have to push yourself hard enough to go and look for it, not sit around in the darkness. You know what I mean? I really hope that this video was helpful to some of you women out there. I know it was very personal into my life, and I don't want anybody to give me a pity party or nothing like that. And I was so nervous about making this video, because I've never told anybody like, nobody knew I was going through any of this but my mother and Justin. And yeah, I just didn't want people to think that I wanted like attention and fucking stupid shit like that. But yeah, so I really hope that this is helpful to anybody, just so you can hear my story and hear how sad it was at the time, and how alive and how happy I feel now. I hope that it just really inspires other people to just get fucking through it. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I feel like this is something that nobody ever talks about, and it's something that us women, we never really want to talk about, because we feel ashamed for the way that we feel. So that's why I wanted to make this video, just so that all of us beautiful women can know that we're not alone in this, that we go through this, and that it's life, and that we are going to get through this. That is the most important part of this whole thing. Please make sure to share this video and comment. You can DM me. I'll put all my social media down below, your experiences or your story, and we can talk and whatever. I'm not a therapist, okay? Let me just write that out. Let me just say that right now. I'm not a fucking therapist, but I am a person, and I am relatable. I am a mother. I am young, so I can relate with a lot of you other women out there. There's no time limit, you know. The time is on your time. It's when you decide that you want to get out of it, and you want to fix it, and you want to change it. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful and useful. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you share to everybody, other women, other mothers. I just want to make sure that people see the message and that they can just relate to the video. That's really all I give a shit about. So, and I really wanted to talk about something that nobody ever talks about. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed my video. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm very grateful for anybody who's even watching, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video. Bye.